Folks, welcome back. Today I want to take a look at what's going on most likely for the United States or the people who are living in the United States for the month of March 2025. I am starting off with the Thoth Tarot, and then I'll move on to the Sufi Wisdom Oracle here in just a second. No reversals are needed. This is a pretty harsh, even plain, or definitely plain-spoken deck that does not, in my opinion, need reversals. How this works is that I shuffle until Spirit asks me to stop, okay? And then we get whatever message Spirit would like to share with us. Take from the bottom first. Well, you see that? That's the Tower, y'all. There's a lot of flaming energy going on right here. Fire spouting out from this monster's mouth. There is a tower. Sorry about my chunky fingers. There is a tower falling in the background, and there are people falling out of it. But above all, the all-seeing eye, the universe, our deities, our ancestors are overseeing this tower fall. So something happens to bring about the end of an era. I also note that this is associated with Mars. The symbol right there. I know I've got a shitty camera. You can't see that. So that's the first card of this particular spread. Something is happening this month which is going to be deeply destructive. This is a tower moment that has been building up for quite some time. And a lot of people are not watching out for this, but the people who are conscious, who are aware, who are on a spiritual path have been watching for this tower fall now for decades, if not at the very least for months or weeks. But this is, people who are aware have been watching out for this. Please be careful. Please be safe. Please get together with your communities, with your loved ones, and hold on tight. Now keep in mind that above all, there is still a dove. But it's also flying away out of the picture. Peace is not sustainable. It is not achievable at this time, though it will be later on. But under what circumstances, that remains to be seen. This is going to reveal a lot of people's true colors. This is going to show, I'm trying to say the words. This is going to force people to show who they truly are, and you're going to have your eyes opened whether you want to see those people for who they really are or not. We have here the Moon card. So here we have a scarab carrying the sun up to the surface, but before he gets to the surface, it needs to go through a number of trials and tribulations. It needs to understand itself for who it truly is. There are two guardians guarding the gate to this realization of who the scarab truly is. The scarab is us, the individual. It's not just the collective, it's us, the individual. Who are we going to choose to be? We have the light within ourselves as we're going through these really difficult moments, through this tower fall. So the time is now to ask ourselves, who are we truly? Crawling up to the surface slowly, gradually. Yeah, looking at the imagery a little bit more closely. We have the Three of Swords. Yep. So we have a number of swords piercing this particular rose. What was once beautiful is falling apart, is being destroyed. It's heartbreak. We are coming up on a rough time. I've been talking about it now for some months, and it may have seemed like I was fear-mongering at particular points. This was Spirit giving us advance notice that something awful was going to start happening. Now, I note that with this Tower card, it's one more note, excuse me, thing that I noticed, is that we're starting to move into Aries energy in the month of March. That comes more towards the end. Also, we start transitioning into Neptune and Aries towards the end of March. That is looking at war and fighting in a very dreamy, idealistic light that isn't healthy. The last time we were in Neptune and Aries, I believe, was around the time of the American Civil War. So I know there are a lot of people who believe that there's no way in hell that a civil war could possibly happen here in the United States, that people are too complacent, too comfortable in their environments to actually get to fighting. I don't know that that's always going to be the case. Once again, we have a bunch of transits stacking on top of each other this particular year that are going to make the United States has never seen this number of transits stacked on top of each other. Pluto in Aquarius started back in November last year. Okay, there's one. Neptune in Aries starts at the end of March, and I'm reading for the month of March. There's two. And then we have Uranus in Gemini starting in July. There's three. We have never had all three transits stacked on top of each other. You need to be aware that this is going to be a heartbreaking time where you have to figure out who you are when things get really, really rough. And it looks like that during the month of March, either the foundation gets laid for all that kind of stuff, or things actually start down that path. And people start to have to see themselves and others for who they truly are, and not just the projections that they put out in front of themselves to make themselves more socially acceptable. This is going to strip away all the things that make socially acceptable what it is. This is a deeply transformative time that I would expect nothing less of from Pluto in Aquarius, okay? This is Saturn, or it's Capricorn, I should say, in Libra. Saturn in Libra. So this is going to be a trial period for a lot of people who consider themselves to be loving people, compassionate people, who consider finding ways of making peace in certain situations. That's not going to be possible in these particular circumstances. It's going to be rough. I also note that associated with the moon card, we have Pisces, and there we've got more Pisces energy. I believe that we're currently in Pisces season, if I'm not mistaken. We definitely have the new moon coming up in Pisces as I'm recording this. So this is about some very deep intuitive levels, if you can get there. It's about being deeply compassionate, being deeply loving, but it's also about delusion, something that's often associated with this particular card. It's also about ideals and not seeing things very clearly, because that's not a sign that's associated with boundaries. It needs something like Earth to set boundaries. And I don't see that so far, except for here in Saturn. Saturn is going to put an end to those ideals that we have around others, that we have around our leaders. Just a few days ago, I did a reading on why the Democratic Party seems to be so consistently losing. And that rolls into this too. We're supposed to not look at the American politicians as role models, as leaders, for the most part. Please take a look at that reading if you're interested. If you want more details, I'm going to progress with this. Now here we've got the sun, and this is interesting. I'm doing a 3x3 spread, and the sun lands below the tower. There are still happy times to be had, but they are waning quickly, is what I'm getting from Spirit. That you need to be grateful for the moments as they come. If you have a moment of happiness, you need to stay in that particular moment and relish it for what it is, because those times are rapidly moving on. You can still have a degree of happiness. You can still look at the bright silver lining if you want, but don't dwell on that as much as you do focusing on being your true self, reaching towards your best and your highest good. That means maintaining your inner light. The scarab is moving the sun towards the surface, but that's also about you moving your own sun towards the surface without the assistance of anybody but the universe. This is going to be very hard for a lot of people. I've said in another video that there's the real risk that we could see suicides jump over these next few months, and even especially over these next few years, because what we're going to be going through is going to be so rough that a lot of people who are complacent, comfortable, even emotionally immature, emotionally young, we might say, are not going to be prepared for this, and they're not going to be able to handle it. If you can protect the people in your inner circle who are most vulnerable, this is the time to do that. We have the Three of Wands. It's virtue. This is the Sun in Aries. So Sun in Aries is going to do pretty well. 2 fire signs. Aries likes being the center of attention, which we associate with the Sun. You're going to be getting quite a bit of attention when people start seeing you moving through your spiritual path, continuing to do your best and your highest good. You're going to get quite a bit of people looking at you and saying, oh, you're virtue signaling, for instance. People might say that you're being a fake because they are jealous of how good you are appearing to be to them. Even though you may be struggling, going through a real struggle moment, they're going to be jealous of how strong you are. They're going to be jealous of the inner spirituality that you have. This is about a peace that passes understanding, if we're to borrow from another faith. This is about a deep inner peace that cannot be violated by these tower moments that we have coming our way. And if you can keep your inner peace, if you can hold on to your inner light, people are going to see that, and they're going to see you as a spiritual role model, whether they want to follow your direction or not. Again, you're likely to have at least some people who are going to be jealous and who are going to try to throw you off your path because your goodness, your inner light irritates them. Don't pay attention to these people. Don't waste your energy or time with those individuals, even if they are family or former friends, former lovers. Get away from them. Separate yourself from those individuals. They're trying to drag you down at the worst possible time. Remember how the tower reveals people's true colors, okay? We have indolence. 8 of Cups. So this follows the debauchery card. I believe that's Saturn in Pisces, but I'm not absolutely sure. This is about being forced to see things for what they really, really are. These are consequences for behavior. After heartbreak, we have consequences for behavior. And specifically, this is about how the United States has behaved towards the people living inside its own borders. For the First Nation Americans, for the slaves. The United States has spent most of its history at war. And I've said before, even in the immediately previous video to this one, the nation that lives by the sword shall die by it. Once again, to borrow from another faith. This is going to be heartbreaking, but at the same time, these are consequences for the United States' actions towards its own people, towards people living in its borders, and towards people living outside its borders. These are natural consequences. We are currently going through the United States' Pluto return, which means that Pluto in Aquarius, the same position that Pluto was in when the nation was founded, is the same position that we find ourselves in today. It is Pluto in Aquarius season, and it's already a rebellious time of deep upheaval. But that's when the United States was founded, and we're going through that once again. This is not going to be easy. It's one thing to talk about consequences. It's another thing to feel them entirely. Keeping to your spiritual path, no matter what, even when it gets difficult, is going to be key. It is going to be vital to your survival, not just your spiritual survival. Okay? We have the Temperance card, also known as art. This is the Emperor and the Empress working together to make something new entirely. Two opposing energies that, when coming together, are deeply complementary towards each other. Now, this is interesting. We have a time of great upheaval, Pain, suffering, strife, surprising pain and suffering and strife, something that I would associate with Pluto and Aquarius. Here, combining together with deep inner peace, even if it is not to be found in your outside environment, it can be found within you. And that's how you marry the two energies together and make something new. This is going to be a time of deep personal transformation for you personally, if you choose to allow that energy to work within you. It is going to be difficult. I won't lie to people. I will speak from experience that spiritual transformation is difficult, but nothing worth having is going to be easy. Sorry that I bumped the table. We have Two of Wands. This popped up and drew my attention when I was shuffling the cards before I was started filming. So here, when we marry our energies, when we marry our outside environment together with what we feel truly on the inside, that inner peace, that inner light, that's when we have control. And not the control that we associate with us gripping onto the handle and saying, I've got this, right? This is a true kind of control that comes from the heart. This is the kind of dominion that does not allow outside factors to pull you away from your spiritual path, to pull you away from who you truly are. The Tower moment is going to reveal true colors, so who are you truly? You have the potential to be an incredible person who attracts the most amazing people to yourself, and especially attracts people who need your protection. People who are most likely good people, but are disadvantaged in some way, and you have the potential to stand up for them and say something, to do something to protect them. We need your energy now more than ever. This is the season where incredible, good people like you are needed. You might consider yourself to be a bit of a wallflower, someone who likes to stay behind the scenes. This is the era where you get pushed front and center. This is your time to shine. And here we have the Aeon, the Judgment card. This lands on top of the Indolence card, the Eight of Cups, and on top of the Three of Swords, heartbreak, sorrow specifically. So this is judgment season. March is about judgment. It's when things truly kick off, as if things hadn't already been warming up. They're really starting to take action now. This is judgment season. Who are you going to be? Are you going to spiritually uplevel yourself, or are you going to take a back seat in spite of all the chaos? I should say in the midst of, instead of in spite of, in the midst of all the chaos and heartbreak and the fear of moving forward seen here in the complacency, the Indolence card. Heartbreak is going to force a lot of people into the freeze mode, and also possibly the flight or the fight modes. You can kind of see that quite possibly with the Three of Wands. People are going to want to irritate you because it makes them feel good to see other people fall off their spiritual path. Don't fall for it. Choose instead to spiritually uplevel yourself. Take heed, I should say. The universe is saying take heed. When the universe tells you to do something, you must do it in order to uplevel yourself. It will be difficult. So 3 more cards, and after that, no more from the Thoth Tarot. We have the Princess of Discs. So this is about earth on earth energy. This is a very kind energy. This is someone who is very focused on starting something new and tangible and material. This is about not knowing specifically what direction you want to go just yet. You know you want to start something new that benefits you, that benefits others. It's notable that this is the first Pentacles or Discs card of this particular spread so far. This is also associated with the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so starting something new. You're not the queen or the queen or the king of pentacles just yet, but you're going on to that particular path. This is absolutely about finding a new way of making things comfortable for yourself. It's not just about finances. Comfortable for yourself, comfortable for others as well. We've got more disc energy. This is the 8 of discs. It's about prudence. This is about being careful about the resources that you've been blessed with. I said in the previous video, be really careful to not overspend any of your resources. That's not just about your money. That's about saving back things like food, for instance. That's about keeping things in savings, even if it's not necessarily money, but keeping back some resources for yourself that can grow into something new for yourself. We already got that message for us on when I uploaded on Sunday, okay? Then we've got the Hierophant. This is interesting. I also pulled this card from the Numinous Tarot also on Sunday. God, the universe, our deities besides God, our ancestors are watching everything, watching us go through difficult times, and is testing us and asking, who are you really? When the world is going to shit, when it's going to hell in a handbasket, who will you choose to be? There will be people who will fall away out of bad character and unwillingness to advance, and there will be other people who will say, I choose to be my best and the best version of myself. You need to gravitate towards those people and work together down your spiritual path until the universe separates the 2 of you, or 3 of you, or however many you have, because it's time for you to grow on your own. Now, I don't have the Hermit card in this particular spread, but there is that kind of hermitish energy where not everything can be done in a group, most especially not a spiritual path. So be careful about, be even a little bit type A personality-ish, because we have that sun in Virgo. Be careful about how you spend your resources. I was just double checking, okay? Be careful about how you spend your resources as you grow them, okay? Because we do have difficult times coming through, and how you take care of yourself, how you take care of others when it comes to those resources that you've been blessed with is being noted by the universe, is being recorded for future purposes. What those future purposes may be is completely up to the universe, and they'll be different for each individual, okay? What to take away from this? There's some real shit going down this particular month that's going to be hard. And it's going to force you to become the person that you were meant to become. And if you choose to reject that particular opportunity, you can, but it's going to be painful. And you're going to potentially miss out on some really neat opportunities from the universe to become the best version of yourself. Okay? You can do this. It's not going to be easy, but you can absolutely do this. So, I want to pull from the Sufi Wisdom Oracle. I'll show the camera what it looks like. There we go. So, after a difficult, harsh message, we need maybe some come down materials, some kindness. This is still a plain-spoken deck, but it's also very kind, okay? Speaks a lot about the beloved within our hearts, the beloved within the universe, in the sense that our ancestors, our deities, are our beloveds, not just about a lover in the literal sense. Here we've got transformation. What I've been talking about this entire reading, the Sufi Wisdom Oracle, is confirming this. Let love transform you forever. Once you start down a particular path of transformation, and once you go through that transformation, it is impossible to go backwards. You just don't want to, especially when that spiritual transformation was so good for you, when you knew you grew so much. You're not going to want to go back down that path. But saying specifically, or I should say go backwards down that path, let love transform you forever. That's what's going to make the events of this particular month so difficult. is that you are going to have to show love to yourself and to others. And it's not going to feel like that's a natural choice a lot of the time, because there's going to be a hell of a lot of pain to go around for everybody, regardless of the choices they've made over the past many, many years, who they've chosen to become, that kind of thing. This is still going to be hard to show love to other people, because I feel like a whole lot of panic is going to be going on. Panic will be reigning is what I'm getting, quite possibly from the universe, okay? Celebrate life. It goes alongside that Sun card. Right now, we need to be grateful for the fun moments that we get to have every once in a while, especially in March, when things really start to get heated, start to get crazy. This is when we're going to need to be grateful for the cool moments that we do get to have. Make your life a celebration. In spite of everything that's going on, there are still things to give gratitude for, to say thank you to the universe for, even when you are really going through it. Life's purpose. Seek your own deeper purpose for life. This goes back to that moon card and about that art card, or the temperance card. You need to find a way to transmute your external environment into something beautiful for yourself, something that kindles your inner light, puts you further down your spiritual path. This is something that you need to do. And when you do that, you're going to discover your true purpose for living. If you felt like you don't have an exact purpose in life, this will clarify it. This will bring it to the surface. It won't be a painless process by any means, but you will find it. Okay. I respect that this wasn't an easy message to listen to if you got all the way to the end, and I appreciate it if you did get all the way to the end. Please don't ignore these messages. Please don't ignore these opportunities that you have upcoming to advance yourself spiritually. You do need them for later when things get even more crazy. Because like I said, we haven't really started to feel these next two transits that we've got coming up yet. We have Pluto and Aquarius that we're feeling right now, but we don't have the other two that I mentioned earlier. So with that in mind, please be thankful for where you are currently in life, even if you're going through rough times. I respect that you're going through rough times. Still find ways to give gratitude towards your ancestors, your deities, to the universe, for even the small things that you may have. Don't take anything for granted. That's all from me. Take care. Have a good day.